Hey Internet, it's me. Now last year, or the year before, I don't know how time works, I watched Deadstream. We talked about it then, how it was like the live stream, vlog, whatever, and the dude, was walking around the house, turned out to be haunted. And then a couple of days ago, I did Followed, which was, similar kind of concept. And in the past, I've also seen shows like Unfriended and stuff like that. I'm beginning to think this is the evolution of found footage. Is that we've gone from random dude has a camcorder to, live stream, Instagram, YouTube influencer kind of thing. And tonight's movie was no exception. It's hashtag Chad gets the axe. Um, and before I get into the movie, I just want to say for this trend, I enjoyed Followed, I enjoyed Deadstream, I enjoyed the Unfriended movies, I even enjoyed Chad Gets the Axe, but I don't think every found footage needs to be this now. I understand the concept, I know why they move that direction, because, as I said in the Followed video, it gives you a good reason for the camera to exist. That's always been an issue in found footage, is that people just randomly have a camcorder, and that doesn't make sense. Whereas with a vlogger, especially with the rise of IRL vloggers and people doing obscene things and calling it a prank, and you have Logan Paul going to the suicide forest, it's realistic, it makes sense, I get it. It's 100% believable when they frame it that way. But at the same time, it's becoming a lot. I've seen 2 movies with the same premise in the first 3 days of this marathon. It's a lot. We need to calm down. So I'm not going to hold the growth of this type of movie against this particular movie, but going forward, we need less of this, or at least they need to do something very unique. But on to this specific movie. Now, unlike Followed or Deadstream, where it's a single vlogger out doing their stuff, this one took a bunch of, I don't even think they're called vloggers anymore. I think it's streamers or Instagrammers, influencers, whatever the hell we're going to call them. I'm going to call them vloggers. Multiple different vloggers all teamed up to do a group stream where each of them is streaming from their own perspective, and all of them together are going through a haunted house where, a satanic murder cult supposedly killed a bunch of people. And so they're walking around the house. It's pretty standard at first. And then things happen. And then they find a body, and then someone disappears, and there's all kind of hijinks and blah, blah, blah. You can guess how it's going to progress. It's not anything new. It's, as far as horror movie goes, any of these vlogger, Instagrammer, first person from the cell phone kind of movies are always going to be super predictable. They're very formulaic. This one's no exception. So you know what's going to happen the entire time. But it is fun to watch it unfold. Just like with the other ones, the actors in a movie like this, when the cinematography doesn't really exist, the lighting, the effects, the direction, you can only do so much with the format. So the whole movie lives or dies with your actors. And luckily, just like with the other ones I've seen, the actors here did a great job. They made the characters very believable and also unlikable. But, I think I said this before in the other videos, and I'll say it again here, that definitely feels intentional because, let's be real, if you've been on the internet, streamers like this, especially the opportunistic, exploitative streamers that will take a bad or fucked up situation and use that to gain clout, and to gain views, and to gain fans, they're shitty people. You're not supposed to root for them. You're not supposed to like them. The people that do like them are edgy 12-year-olds who haven't developed a conscience or morals yet because they're stupid and their brains are made of Play-Doh. And so the characters in this movie, all 4 of them, honestly, are kind of just unlikable and stupid. And so the actors do a great job of portraying that. And it's not to say the actors are unlikable or stupid. They're very good at playing the role that they played. So I don't want this to be a knock at the actors, or the writers for that matter, because they wrote these characters wonderfully. They're just they're portrayed very well and very believably. I didn't really like the characters. And on that note, I want to go a little further here because this wasn't just a horror movie to be like, hey, a streamer's getting killed by a ghost. This one definitely felt like it was making a comment to that effect. It's basically showing not just how toxic the streamers are and how not good they are, but also the people that are entertained by that type of thing, that want to watch that kind of content and actually get joy out of, watching people basically be horrible. They're not good people either. All throughout the movie, Chad, the main one that we're supposed to follow, he, multiple times he asks his streamers for help or to call the cops on his behalf. Or we'll ask them a question like, hey, which way should I go? What should I do right now? And the entire time, none of them are being helpful. Some of them are purposely being unhelpful. The whole time they're basically rooting for him to die. Like they're getting entertainment out of the spectacle that is his being tortured and killed. And they even go so far as to, at the end of it, show people celebrating on social media that he died. Like even once they realize it's real, his own cousin is using it to pitch his upcoming reality show, and all his former fans are making, TikTok dances with this parody song about his death. Like, it's really a commentary on how social media has kind of got out of control, and the people that use it and the way they use it are just not good. And I appreciate that. Like, I like that just from a horror movie standpoint, it's entertaining. Like I said, there's been a lot of this format, but so far I've still enjoyed them. I think it should slow down unless someone is doing something different, but the ones I've seen so far have been good. But I do appreciate that this one went the extra mile, and they weren't just making that horror movie in that format or with that story. They were trying to add something else. They were trying to, show with that movie that, hey, this is the stuff that happens, but also it's kind of toxic, it's kind of bad. Like, we should not be glamorizing this, maybe not everyone needs to be on social media all the time. And I know how incredibly hypocritical it is for me to say that while filming a video for YouTube right now. So I get that. I'm a hypocrite, and sometimes people are. But I don't know. I like the message. I agree with it to an extent too. I obviously do make these YouTube videos, and I post pictures of my dog on Instagram. But by and large, I avoid social media because it's not for me. It doesn't. The more I used it back when I did, the less I enjoyed it. And so, I don't know, the movie resonated for me. I feel like the message they were making was a good one. It made sense to me. I agree with it. I liked it. And honestly, kind of overall, that's my feelings for the movie is, I liked it. I get what they were going for. I saw what they were doing. I think they executed it well. I think the actors all played their roles very well. The characters come across exactly how they're supposed to. And overall, it's just a good, entertaining movie. It's not super scary. Like, at the end of the day, the monster is just a cultist in a cloak with like a burlap sack hood thing. So there's no kind of actual like supernatural. You don't see any actual monsters or anything like that. It's just killer cultists in the woods. But it looks good enough. They're still menacing. Oh my god, I can't stop. I don't understand. My brain doesn't work. They're still menacing in the way that they kind of show up and appear and disappear. And I like too that they explained how the killer kept being in different places at different times. Because at the very end of it, you realize there's more than one cultist. So the whole night, there were multiples of them all over the place. And, it wasn't one guy just magically teleporting, from chasing the person to now ahead of him. It was multiple guys the whole time. That's really cool. I like that they did that because it's kind of like in Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Nielsen, the horror movie. I think I reviewed it a few years ago. He is explaining to the mockumentary people that, he has to work on his cardio because when a slasher is going after someone, they have to look like they're slowly trailing them, but then be able to run around and end up in front of them. It was just another attempt to explain how these seemingly impossible things happen in these movies. And I like when you get that extra explanation just because it makes the movie a little more believable, it builds the world a little more, and just makes it all feel more real. So I definitely appreciate that extra touch. Um, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I just really enjoyed it. I'm not going to keep rambling. It was a good movie, and I personally liked the message. They weren't like being preachy about it or anything. Like they didn't come right out and say, "Hey, social media is evil. You shouldn't use it." You know, hashtag Jeebus or whatever. Like they're not being obnoxious about it. But like you could definitely read between the lines and see what they were saying with the movie. Um, and yeah, I just thought they did a great job. I thought the movie was fun. I enjoyed it. Even from a horror movie standpoint, the kills are fun, the story is fun, it's well acted. Like everything here was good. This was an entertaining one. If you like this modern take on found footage, this is one to watch. You'll probably enjoy it. And if not, then I don't know. Don't watch it. I'm not your mom. Do what you want. Either way, I will see you tomorrow with another movie. Bye.